Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What's up, viewers? Welcome back to our course. The local time in Washington is 8 p.m. Today we are quite late. Last week we have talked about first 15 slokas of chapter 2, and today we'll be doing slokas 15 to 30 of chapter 2. In these 15 slokas, Krishna has explained about our soul and true human nature. But understanding soul itself is a huge subject of research, and it can create a lot of misinterpretations if not understood properly. Honestly, I am not an expert to discuss about the science of souls. That's why I will just touch upon the very basic concepts and our simple understanding about it. And if you want to learn more, I will provide some video links in the description section. You can always check those videos. From my experience, I believe the best lecture about soul is by Swami Sarvapriyananda, a monk at Ramakrishna Order, who is currently posted at New York. He delivered the lecture called Who Am I at IIT Kanpur Vivekananda Samiti, and I was blessed enough to meet him once in New York when I visited United States for the first time in 2017. Okay, so in the 17th sloka, Krishna told, Avinashi tu tadbriddhi yana sarvang idang tatam vinashammo bayosasso no kaschit kartumarhasi. The spirit from which everything has been manifested and pervaded is omnipresent and imperishable. No one has the power to bring about the annihilation of this unchangeable spirit. In this sloka, Krishna gave the idea about our true nature. Let's understand it with an example. My name is Arjak. I have born in a Hindu Brahmin family in West Bengal, and currently I am a research scholar at Washington State University. Does it describe my true nature? The answer is no. Because if something is a truth, it will be untouched by time, space, and circumstances. My father had given me a name. The name is valid and true till the time I am alive. My name, my caste, my religion, my academic qualification, everything is associated with this body. This body had a birth, it has a growth, it will have diseases and decay, and one day this body will die. It is inevitable. Science and technology may delay the death of my body, but it can never defeat the death. So that means when I am giving my identity as Arjak, it's a false identity, because this identity is valid only in some specific time, space, and circumstances criteria. It is not an ultimate truth. So what's my true nature then? According to Vedanta, our true nature is our soul, which is entrapped inside our body. That's why Vedanta is the only scripture in this world which describes us as Tat Tam Asi. You are that. We all are the part of the same energy which is omnipresent and pervading the whole universe. In the 20th sloka, Krishna mentioned, Na hannate hannamane sharire. That means it is not slain, and the body is and the soul is inevitable. Birth is basically a state which indicates something was not existing before, existing now, and death means something has existed before but it's not existing now, and both these definitions will not hold true if we consider ourselves as an immortal soul. Like I said before, Arjak had a birth, Arjak will surely have a death, but the soul which is being entrapped inside Arjak's body neither had a birth nor will have a death. It is a continuous flow. In the 23rd sloka, Krishna explained, Nainang chindanti shastrani, nainang dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantebba no shoshayati maruta. No weapon can pierce the soul, no fire can burn it, no water can moisture it, nor can any wind wetter it. So that's why, Arjun, you have to fight for dharma, because you are not killing anybody. Yesterday I was talking to one of my elder brothers, Dr. Raja Boshak, and he is an assistant professor of surgery at Raiganj and Malda Medical College in West Bengal. He explained this part of chapter 2 with a probabilistic viewpoint. Let's talk about that. Let's take an example. A patient is undergoing a surgery. The probability of life or death for that patient is either 0% or 100%. There is nothing in between. It's a very simple calculation, because after the surgery there are only two possibilities for the patient. One is either he will survive, that means the probability of being alive out of the surgery is 100%. What's the second case? Second probability is the patient will not survive, the patient will die. So if we consider this possibility, the probability of survival is 0%. There is nothing in between these two. If we see it from the patient perspective, there is no 50% chance or 60% chance, nothing like that. It's 0 or 100. Let's change the viewpoint to the surgeon. Let's assume that the surgeon has done the same surgery 10 times before, and out of that 7 patients were survived and 3 patients were died. That means from the surgeon's perspective, the probability of a patient's survival is 70%, and this rate will change with time, because if he is doing another 5 surgeries, then the total sample set will get changed and the probability factor will also change. But again, for each and every patient, each and every individual time, the probability factor of life or death is constant. That's again either 0 or 100 if we see it from the patient's perspective. At the end of the day, our whole life is just a game of probability, and a lot of things are there which is beyond our control. Now if we relate it with Gita, for Arjuna the probability is 0 or 100, because he thought either I will kill my relatives or I will not kill them. But for Krishna the probability factor is different, because he knew if the war is happening, few leaders even from the Pandava side will also die. Just like the surgeon, he knew that even if it's a question of life and death, I will not be able to save everybody's life through this surgery. In 28th sloka, Krishna told, Avvyakta dini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata Avvyakta nidhanan nevo tatra ka paridevana. The beginning of all creature is the same, middle is manifested, and the end again is imperishable. O Bharata, why then lament this truth? It's the secret of our life. Our life is just a game of probability, nothing more than that. But still, we cannot escape from our duties, we cannot escape from work. Okay, that's all I had for today. Next class we will talk about the next 15 slokas. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. Namaste.